Could the 49ers trade George Kittle? Don't turn off the video. I know it sounds like an insane question. George Kittle is one of the best players in the league. He's only 26. I mean, he should finish his career with the team that drafted him. But will he? Consider the following 5 things. 1, the 49ers haven't given him an extension yet. Like, why? They should have done that last week, last month. Kittle should be their number 1 priority. But they haven't given him a contract extension yet. He will be a free agent after next season. He has only earned $1.9 million in his 3-year career. General manager John Lynch went on 95.7 The Game Thursday morning to reassure 49er fans about George Kittle's future. Lynch said, he's not going anywhere. We're going to work this out. And then he said, we both agree that Kittle needs to be the highest paid tight end in the league, but they need to find a sweet spot of what that exactly means. So the way I interpret that is Kittle wants probably a certain number. The Niners would like to give him a number that's lower, and they need to agree on a compromise. That's tricky because the highest paid tight end in the league right now is, on an average salary basis, is Hunter Henry on the Chargers. He makes $10.6 million per year. So the Niners could offer George Kittle $12 million a year and say, congratulations, we're going to make you the highest paid tight end of all time. And Kittle could say, well, Emmanuel Sanders is making $12 million next year from the Saints. I mean, be real. I'm much more valuable than your typical tight end. I'm not even really a tight end. I'm an offensive weapon, the way Kyle Juszczyk is, the way the 49ers market Kyle Juszczyk. The Niners gave Kyle Juszczyk a huge contract that wasn't in line with any fullback before him, but they said he's not a fullback, he's an offensive weapon. Well, that's what George Kittle is too. In terms of just as a receiver, he's just as valuable as Amari Cooper, who's making $20 million a year. If Cooper's making 20 a year, Kittle should make 21. He's just as good of a receiver, plus he blocks, right? So if the 49ers want George Kittle to take a discount to do a hometown deal, why should he? George Kittle is worth every penny of what he asked for. He's one of the best players in the league. So that's 1. They haven't extended him yet. What are they waiting for? 2, the 49ers traded DeForest freaking Buckner. Now, you guys have wrapped your head around that now, but if I had told you in January the Niners were planning to trade Buckner, you guys would have called me a troll and that I was just searching for attention. But they ended up doing it. I mean, look at Buckner. He was an elite defensive tackle, younger than Kittle, only lived up to his draft slot, but not just an elite athlete. He is a leader. He's dependable. He's durable. He doesn't complain. He is literally everything you want from a football player. I call him the Joe Staley of the defense. And the Niners felt he's too good. He's too expensive. We can't afford him. It's almost like what the A's used to do when they would trade away players at their peak, like Giambi, Tejada, Tim Hudson. Sorry, you're just too good. We can't afford you. Like, it's Moneyball. Could the 49ers use the same logic with Kittle? With Buckner, they said, you're great, but you're not a defensive end. We're not going to pay you $20 million a year. You're a deep defensive tackle. Sorry. If Kittle wants to be paid $18 million a year, which is fair, I mean, he's that good. Will the Niners say, look, sorry, you're just a tight end. We're not going to pay tight end wide receiver money if that's his demand. I don't know what Kittle's asking for, but if he is asking for wide receiver money, he deserves it. And all I can say is when the Niners traded Buckner, they sent Kittle a message, and the message was real clear. Be reasonable with your contract demands. Maybe give us a hometown discount, because if you stick too hard to your initial number, well, we traded Buckner. We'll trade anyone. That's a clear message to Kittle and his agent. 3, the 49ers reportedly tried to sign or flirted with signing tight end Austin Hooper. Now, Austin Hooper, Kyle Shanahan drafted him in Atlanta. He's one of Shanahan's guys. Not as good as Kittle, but very good. And everyone knew that he was going to be a free agent this year and that he was going to become the highest paid tight end ever before Kittle gets paid. Very good player. So everyone knew he was going to be expensive. Why did the Niners try to sign him? They can't even afford Buckner. We're supposed to believe they can afford paying the 2 highest paid tight ends in the league, like $10 million for Hooper and $18 million for Kittle. No, it's a one or the other deal. And the fact that they were flirting with Hooper is, to me, another message to Kittle and his agent. If you want 18 million, well, we'll find someone who's willing to play for 10. So don't be too greedy because we can replace you. That's, to me, is the message they sent by flirting with Austin Hooper. 4, the 49ers traded for Trent Williams. Now, Joe Staley retired. The Niners needed to do something at left tackle. They could have drafted Tristan Wirfs at 13. Wirfs is young. He could have been like Staley, the left tackle for 13 years, and he would have been cheap the first 5 years because he would have been on that rookie wage scale contract. That would have been a perfectly acceptable move, but the Niners didn't do that. They traded for Trent Williams, who is cheaper now, only cost him a 5th-round pick this year and a 3rd-round pick next year, but he'll be a free agent after next year, just like Kittle. And, just like Kittle, Trent Williams is an elite player. He's the best left tackle in the league. He's going to want to get paid what he is worth. Do you think he's going to give the Niners a discount, a hometown discount? It's not his hometown. He's over here on a rental. If he plays well, I think he's going to try to get the most money he can get. And a left tackle who's only 31, 32, could get 18, 19 million a year. I mean, the top paid offensive tackle right now is Laramie Tunsil, averaging 22 million. So the Niners bring in a guy like Trent Williams. Shanahan drafted him in 2010. Kyle and his dad took Trent Williams in Washington with the 4th pick. One of Kyle's guys. They love Trent Williams. Kittle was a 5th-round pick. Can the Niners afford to give Trent Williams $18 million a year and George Kittle $18 million? Maybe not. And if not, who are they choosing? The tight end or the left tackle? Usually teams choose the left tackle. Number 5, the Kyle Shanahan factor. Remember, Kyle Shanahan doesn't feel he needs George Kittle or Matt Ryan or Julio Jones. Kyle Shanahan firmly believes that he is the star of his offenses. He's the star, not the quarterback, not the top receiver, the running back. He believes he can scheme anyone open. Anyone. I mean, getting into Kyle Shanahan's head, he might think, well, Kittle wasn't anything in college. He had less than 50 catches in college. He was a 5th-round pick. He's supposed to be a blocking specialist. I scheme him to be wide open, and he rumbles down the field and gains yards after the catch. I can scheme a lot of people wide open. Do I need to pay George Kittle $18 million a year? Do I need to pay any skill position player $18 million a year? It's possible Kyle Shanahan would say, no, I can get by going cheap at skill position players because I'm the star. And we can spend all our money on offensive line, quarterback, and D-line. That could be his theory. I don't know. He shouldn't test it, though. Forget that. The 49ers should be proud to give George Kittle a record-setting contract extension. They drafted him, they identified him, they developed him, and he turned out to be better than they could have ever expected. They should be proud. They should give him the money the way they should have given DeForest Buckner the money as well. Those are your foundational players. Those are the players you build around. They're not the players you flip for 1st-round draft picks. That's what the A's do. That's Moneyball. Moneyball is beneath the 49ers. They're one of the richest franchises in sports. Show George Kittle the money. Pay up.